enough. So today what we will do is we'll understand what are the different types of organizations. Okay. Now this is the reporting protocol generally. So I think now you have picked up a few words from my earlier classes. So you know what is portfolio. I told you portfolio is actually the collection of programs. Then you have a new word coming as PMO. PMO stands for Project Management Office. So under that you have project manager, under that you have project coordinator, then you have technical lead, then you have team members. So this is generally the reporting protocol. It is not mandatory that this reporting protocol has to be like this only. This is a general reporting protocol for any company which manages multiple projects. So what you can see on the top is a chief project officer. He is the person who is basically responsible for managing portfolios. I just told you a portfolio is a collection of programs and a program is a collection of projects. And there is one office called as a PMO. I have told you in the last class what is PMO. PMO stands for Project Management Office. Today most of the organizations, whether it is IT or non-IT, top level organizations will have a PMO, Project Management Office. So PMO will basically set rules, regulations and guidelines on how to execute projects. What are the processes to be followed? What are the disciplines to be followed? So those disciplines and processes are actually dictated by the PMO. So it will act like a governmental body which will govern the entire process of project management. Okay. So now what are the types of organization? See, you take any organization, if you look at the organizational structure, basically for executing projects, you must have a knowledge of your organizational structure. Because tomorrow when you become a project manager, if you know what an organizational structure is of that particular company, it becomes easier for you to manage that particular project. And every company will have its own type of organizational structure. Now, categorically speaking, there are three general organization structures. One is called functional, the second one is called as projectized, and the third one is called as a matrix. And under matrix you have weak, balanced and strong. So probably you may not understand at this point of time. So when I take some examples, you will understand what is functional, what is projectized and what is matrix. So these are the three different types of organizations which we encounter on a day-to-day basis. So first we shall see what is functional organization. So this is the chart for a functional organization. You have a CEO sitting on the top, Chief Executive Officer. Under that you have functional managers. See, what is a functional manager? A functional manager is a person who has got a domain knowledge. Always remember this. Functional means domain. So if you take a company may have a finance department, it may have a HR department, it may have an IT department, IT is information technology, it may have a production department, it may have supply chain department. Now each and every department's function is different. Human resource department function will have a functional manager called as a human resource manager. Similarly, you have a productions department functional manager as a productions manager. Maybe you may even have a supply chain department's manager as a supply chain manager. So under that department you will have staff members. So that means if there are series of people who are working under HR, they all report to HR manager. All the HR staff report to HR. All the production staff report to production manager. All the IT staff report to IT manager. So there is a very clear distinction between one functional manager and the another functional manager based upon their expertise. So this kind of classification is called as functional organization. So that means classification of the organizations based upon their functionality. But remember, even in this functional organization, we do projects. Now that is very important. So projects happen within that particular functional organization. For example, human resource management staff do a project. But what kind of projects they do? Only related to human resources. Production people will do a project on production within their domain expertise. Information technology domain is there. They do a project. For example, I'll give you an example. Now we have an IT department. Now human resource manager will talk to the IT manager and say that I want you to develop an software application for managing the appraisal of my employees. Now what is appraisal system? You know, every employee should be given an appraisal, salary hike depending upon their performance. So now this appraisal system has to be automated. Till now it is manual, it has to be automated. So now there is a request placed by the functional manager of the HR to the functional manager of the IT saying that why don't you write a software application for me to automate my HRM process in that appraisal process. So now what is happening? Now there is a communication happening between two functional managers. So the responsibility of the IT manager is to ensure that he develops an human resource management appraisal system for the human resource department under the approval of the CEO. That is very important. CEO has to approve this. So what is important in this kind of organization is the staff belongs to a functional domain. That's all. So over a given period of time, they don't have anything else to explore. People in production department will only work in production department. That's all. They may get saturated. It is a monotonous process. People working in HRM will only work in HRM. They will not have exposures to other department. So that is one disadvantage of working in an functional organization, because you will be exposed only to one particular functional area. But you get knowledge in that particular area. That is very important. Since you are in HRM for many years, you will be knowledgeable in that particular area, but you will not have an interdisciplinary skills which is generally required in other organizations. So that may not happen. So this is the first kind of organization which you need to understand, which is called as a functional organization. So you can see here, staff members are grouped by specialty, that is production, marketing and engineering. Everything is grouped by specialty. Each department will do project work independent of the other. So every department will do their own projects. Communication is passed from the other department to the departmental head. Now this is very important. You have to follow the hierarchy. See, if something has to be communicated from functional manager 1 to functional manager 2 to one staff of functional manager 2, it has to be only through the departmental head. See, in project management, we have a very good knowledge area. It is called project communication management. I was talking about that in the last class. Communication management is such an important management strategy in project management. You should know what to communicate to whom, how much to communicate, what not to communicate. So today the fancy thing is, when you are writing emails, they send emails to everybody by putting to and CC. So you should know whom to put in CC, whom not to put in CC. In big organizations, even the email etiquettes are decided by the communication management strategy. So when you are working on a project, we clearly decide status report should be sent to whom, status report should not to be sent to whom. That also will be decided very clearly. So that is a communication management plan which comes as a knowledge area in project management. So when you are talking about functional organization, if I have to talk to another person in a different department, I have to route that communication through his functional manager only. That is very clearly defined in the organization structure. Now, the second type of organization is called as projectized. This is very important. So, what is projectized? As the name itself says, we are working on a particular project. Now, here you have staff. You have staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, and you have a project manager here. So, here the responsibility of executing the project is under a project manager. Unlike functional manager, here we have a concept called project manager. Now, here 3 staffs are working under this project manager, which means what? This staff will work only for this particular project. So, you have the next set of staff, they'll be working for the second project. Then you have the next set of staff, they'll be working for the third project. Now, here the project manager holds the highest responsibility in projectized organization. He holds the responsibility. So, the staff which are actually put here, they belong to different departments, but they don't do that function. We call it as banding. See, I am doing a project. So, what I do, I pull out resources from various departments, I put them in my project. Now, once I put them in my project, they are disbanded from their functionality and they are banded to my project, and they start working in my project. They are no longer related to that functionality anymore. Now, once the project is completed, again I disband them and send them to their parent department. This is called as projectized organization. So, in the projectized organization, project manager has got the highest responsibility of managing the projects. He has the highest responsibility. But in the functional organization, the functional manager will have the topmost responsibility. So, that is the basic difference between a projectized organization and the functional organization. Now, you can see what is in a projectized organization. Team members are collocated, which means that they are placed one beside the other. Most of the organization resources are involved in project work. What is important is project managers have a great deal of independence and authority. So, they have highest authority. So, they have the authority of project costing, they have the authority of project budgeting, they have the authority of project planning. So, if you are working in a projectized organization and if you are a project manager of a projectized organization, you as a project manager will enjoy that high level of authority. But if you are a project manager of a functional organization, your authority will be lesser, because functional manager will hold the highest authority. That you must know. So, in some organizations, they don't even call you as a project manager in a functional organization. They call you as a project expeditor. So, that depends upon what kind of organization you are actually working with. Then organizations have departments who report directly to the project manager. So, you can see here, everybody reports to the project manager. All staff reports to the project manager. So, this is one difference between a functional manager and a projectized organization. Then you have matrix. Now, this is very important. Matrix is a collection of combination of both projectized and functional. So, this is very important. Let me give one example. Okay, see, now I have a functional organization here. Okay, now in this functional organization, let us take that there are 3 functionalities. Now, this is your finance. Okay, this is your HRM. And this is your production. So, these are the functionalities. Okay. Now, all the staff here, they all belong to finance. All the staff here, they belong to HRM. All the staff here, they belong to production. Now the organization wants to do a project. It has to basically, what is the project all about? The project is all about, so let's say that the project is about creating, the project is about getting a result of how the organization is performing, maybe an analysis report. So we do analysis report of any company, how my organization is performing, or what is the percentage of my organization in terms of growth prospect, whether my organizational will grow in the next 6 months or not, what will be the percentage of growth. So I told you that every project will give me a product, service or a result. Now this project which I am trying to find out whether my organization will grow in the next 6 months or not is a result, because what I am going to get out of this project, it's a result. The result will tell me whether my organization will grow or not. So in order to do that project, I have to take people from multiple departments to execute this project. So I'll take staff from finance department, I will take staff from HRM, I will take staff from production. I will put all these 3 staffs in this particular project. I will put them in my project. What is a project? The project is used to do an study on that organization, whether the organizational will grow or not in the next 6 months. If it grows, by what percentage it will grow. Because to understand whether the organization grows or not, I have to take the inputs from various staff people also. So I need people from finance, I need people from HRM, I need people from production. They have to give their knowledge and experience. So I have to collect the data from them, and then I have to make an analysis and study. So now what are you trying to do? This staff here, he is working in my project also. At the same time, he is working for this particular functionality called finance. So now he has dual responsibility. He has to spend some time in my project. At the same time, he has to spend some time in doing the project of the finance department also. So his reporting manager, direct reporting manager for any financial operation is functional manager for finance. If he has to report to anything in relevance to the project, that is the additional work which has been allocated to him, the reporting manager will be the project manager of this particular project. So that means now he has got 2 reporting managers. One reporting manager is the direct reporting manager, that is the functional manager for finance. That is his day-to-day activity. Now he has been specifically allocated one more project. Apart from whatever he does on a day-to-day basis, for that the reporting manager is the project manager for that particular project. So now he has got 2 reporting managers. So that means his work is being split. So this kind of organization is called as a matrix organization. So what is a matrix organization? It's an organization where staff will be generally employed in their department. But as and when the time is needed, I also take that staff to my project to complete my project activities, but not totally disbanding them from their functionality. They will be working in their department, but sometime they contribute to me also. So this kind of organization is called as matrix organization. Now you can see here, the last row, these are the people who are actually put in the project. We don't know what project it is. So it's an example of an matrix organization. So these are the different types of organizations which are available in any organizational structure. One is called the function, the second one is called projectized, and the third one is called as matrix. Now in this matrix organization, you have got 3 types. One is called weak, balanced and strong. We will see that and conclude. So before that, what is matrix organizations? You can see it blend features of both project-based and functional organizational structures. Now you can see here, the key challenge with a matrix organization is that every employee has 2 or more managers they report to. So don't fall under an impression that a staff will be involved only in one project. Need not be. The simple example is Mangalyaan film. I think you know, you must have watched this Mangalyaan film, I think. So he basically bans people from various departments. He will ban one person from Baba Research Agency. He will ban one more person from ISRO. So for this particular testing of this bomb, he is actually in this project, but actually his reporting authority would be his parent organization. So this is a simple example of a matrix organization. So he may be involved in multiple projects. For example, this staff here, this staff which I am showing here, these 3 staffs are involved in one project, but this staff could also be involved in another project also. So he will be involved in project 1, project 2, and also functional manager's job. So his responsibilities are split. So this is a kind of matrix organization structure. That is why I say that you can have one or more reporting managers. So in this there are 3 types. One is called weak, second one is called as balanced, and the third one is called as strong. So what is weak? So in a weak matrix organization structure maintains many of the features of the functional organization and structure. The role of, this is very important, the role of the project manager is more that of a project coordinator, that's all. And what is important here is their ability to make or enforce decision is low, and most of the authority remains with the functional manager. See, now you take this example. This is the project. This is the project. In this project, there are 3 staff members. Staff 1, staff 2, staff 3. They are all reporting to a project manager. Now the question is, what is the authority of this project manager over this particular staff? That is very important. The functional manager has the highest authority to this particular staff. Now for this staff, the highest authority lies with the functional manager. But since the staff is allocated inside another project, he also has to report to this project manager. No doubt about it. But the authority of this project manager is very less if it is a weak matrix. The complete authority lies with the functional manager. For example, let's say that this staff is allocated to work for 45 hours a week. 45 hours a week on this particular project. Now this project manager says that I want this resource for 50 hours. I need 5 more hours extra. So he cannot directly command this particular staff and say you work 5 more hours extra for me. He has to request the functional manager. Functional manager has to approve that, and then that staff will work 5 more hours extra for this particular project manager. Because the authority of the project manager is very less as when compared to the functional manager in case of a matrix organization of the type weak. So this is the one thing which you need to understand. So you can see that the role of the project manager is more that of a project coordinator, that's all. Now he, even though you call him as a project manager, but he is a project coordinator, that's all. He coordinates the project. Why? Because he does not have much authority over the staff in that particular project. So this is one thing you need to understand. Their ability to make or enforce a decision is low, and most of the authority remains with the functional manager. That is very important. So if this staff has to go on leave, okay, he has to request the functional manager only to sanction his leave. He cannot request the project manager, though he is working in that particular project. If the functional manager sanctions leave, even though this staff has got some work to do in that particular project, he can happily go on leave. Project manager cannot question him. You have some pending work with me, you have taken leave. Nothing to question because functional manager has granted the leave. That is why you should ensure that you have a good rapport with the functional manager. The project manager here in the weak matrix type should have a good rapport with the functional manager. If both of them work in synergy, then only the project also will be complete and the functional manager's job also will be completed by that particular staff. If you don't maintain the good rapport, then I think you will suffer. That is why I told you one of the skills required for the project is negotiation, conflict management. You should know how to negotiate. So if you want this resource for 5 more hours extra, you should be able to negotiate that with the functional manager. If you are not able to negotiate properly, then your project is going to suffer. If your project suffers, your appraisal will hamper, not the staff's appraisal. So that is very important, which you need to understand. So that is about your weak matrix. Now what is a balanced matrix? In the balanced matrix organization, the project manager does not have full authority over the project staff or project budget, but will have some authority. It is 50-50. Functional manager will have 50%, project manager will have 50%. That means both will have dual responsibility of that particular project. If something goes wrong, they will catch the collars of both. In weak matrix organization, if something goes wrong in this particular project, they will catch the collar of only the project manager. Functional manager will have no responsibility. His job is to just allocate the staff, that's all. But in the balanced matrix organization, the functional manager and project manager together will collaboratively execute the project. So that means they have equal responsibility. So this is good, because since both of them have got equal responsibility, they know how to shoulder it well. So the responsibility lies with both of them. So that is called as balanced matrix organization structure. So which you need to understand. So in the balanced matrix organization structure, you can see there is a concept called project manager. So whenever you are talking of a weak matrix, we call him as a project expeditor. But in a balanced matrix organization, we call him as a project manager. Why? Because he has got some powers. The moment you get a power, you put in the designation as manager. When you don't have a power, don't call him a manager. In a weak matrix organization, he had no power at all. So we call him as an expeditor. In case of a balanced matrix organization, since he has got 50% power, so we call him as a manager. So how much of power he has got? He has got probably half the power, 50% power. Then you have a strong matrix organization. So what is a strong matrix organization? They have a full-time project managers, have considerable authority over the project in this organizational structure. So they have the highest authority. Now in this case, if you take this example, these 3 staff working for this particular project, for all these 3 staff, the authority lies with the project manager. Controlling authority lies with the project manager. So that is called as a strong matrix organization. So that means the authority of the project manager will basically oversee the authority of the functional manager. When it comes to the project manager is the key. Whatever decisions he can take, he need not report to the functional manager because he has been given that much authority. So that is an example of your strong matrix organization. So strong matrix organization are highly project oriented because project managers have considerable authority over the project in this organizational structure. Now you can see the comparison. In the weak matrix, project manager role is more that of a coordinator. In strong matrix, it's a full-time project manager with a considerable authority and full-time staff. In the balanced matrix, it recognizes the need of a project manager, does not provide full authority to the project manager, does not provide project funding. Even project funding is not provided in a balanced matrix. So these are the different types of matrix organizations structure. Now ultimately you have this table which basically summarizes the organization structure. So you have 3 types: functional, projectized and matrix. Under matrix you have weak, balanced and strong. Now these are the characteristics of the project, like project manager's authority, resource availability, who controls the budget, project manager's role, project management administrative staff. See, for example, if you see project manager's authority, in the functional there is no authority at all, but in projectized it has got highest authority. Then weak matrix it is limited, in balanced matrix it is low, in strong matrix it is high. Similarly, administrative staff, what is their functionality for functional, matrix and projectized. So if you see this particular table, you will be able to understand the difference between functional, matrix and projectized. So organizational structure plays a very important role in project. So we call this as enterprise environmental factor, EEF we say. So when you are doing a project, organizational structure is very important. In some companies they have a rigid organizational structure. They say that no, we cannot violate our rule. We are a functional organization only. So if you want to do a project, you have to adhere to our functional organization. Then your methodology of approaching a project is different. Some organizations are little liberal. They say that okay, we can change the organizational structure to meet your project objective. So they are liberal. So then your methodology of approach will be different. So why I am telling you this, because once you are allocated as a project manager, the success of a project does not only depend upon the parameters what I told you in the last class. There are external factors influencing the structure of the project. And one of the external factors influencing the structure of the project is an organizational structure also. So it plays a great importance in influencing the success of the project, because by looking at the organization structure, you can redefine your process. You can redefine your methodology on how to approach that particular project, which is very important. So PMBOK, project management body of knowledge, will only give you an template. It will only give you an scenario on how to basically manage organizational structures. But you can only get this only with experience. So when you make your hands dirty, when you work in different kinds of organization, you will be able to understand how to deal with people and how to manage with the process. So this is about organizational structure. When you are going for a project management manager interview, Panish, certainly there will be a question on organizational structure. They'll ask you in which company you are currently working now. You say that you are working for CGI. Immediately they'll ask you the question, tell me what is the organizational structure of CGI. What is your organizational structure in CGI, Panish? Now I have given you 3 types of organizational structure. Which organizational structure CGI is following now?
It's balanced.
It's balanced. See, that's what I'm telling. Now when you say balance, you should be able to explain them. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's it for today's class. Actually, I wanted to do a small session today. I have actually completed the base for project management. In the next class, I will go directly into project management process areas. Like we'll start with the initiation process group. How do you start a project and how do you write a project charter? Any project will have something called as a document called as a project charter. What is a project charter? How do you write it? Then how do you get a sign off? What do you mean by a statement of work? So all those things we shall see in the next class, that is initiation process group.